What's up everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So you know the drill, Advent of Code 2022, day 2, let's go. Okay, so we are back for day 2 of Advent of Code, and as always, I'm going to take a second to read the day 2 problem, understand it, and then make sure we can come back and all look at it together with what I have summarized. So what I've summarized of this problem is that it is a strategy guide for rock, paper, scissors, the game we all know and love. There are different symbols here and each one means a different thing according to the strategy guide that an appreciative elf has given us. So A is rock, B is paper, and C is scissors. So the rules of the game are depending on which thing you pick, rock, paper, or scissors, you get a certain amount of points. So if you pick rock, you get 1 point. If you pick paper, you get 2 points, and then if you pick scissors, you get 3 points. And based on that result of what you picked, plus the outcome of the round, so win, lose, or draw, you get a certain amount of points. So 0 for lose, 3 for draw, and 6 for win. So the elf told us, or well, actually they didn't tell us, they just left, but kind of rude. But we surmised that these symbols here, Y, X, and Z, must also correspond to what you have played in response to your opponent. So A, B, C is what your opponent played, Y, X, Z, or X, Y, Z is what you have played. So we surmised that X is for rock, Y is for paper, and Z is for scissors. Based on this, what is the score that we would get if we played this in response to whatever's our opponent plays? So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first, we have our input file and it is reading. We want D2 now. Let's clear all this from yesterday. And let's get the sample. So we have A, Y, B, X, and C, Z. So the expected number, let me just put it here, expected is 15. That is very large. So first thing we want to read is the input file. So the next thing we want to do is actually write down the different steps we want to take here. So step 1, we want to figure out your move as well as the opponent's move. So figure out opponent move, because that's the first column, and then your move. Okay. And then I feel like the best data structure to be able to store this is a dictionary or an object, depending on language, but in this case, a dictionary. And what we could do is map, for example, what your opponent plays, and then each of the things that you could play and what the number of points you would get from that is. So for example, if your opponent played rock, and in this case, you played paper, that would lead up to a score of 8, I believe, because 2 for picking paper, and then 6 because you won. So we want to kind of create this map that would basically be a really quick lookup of like, this is what your opponent played, this is what I played, this is the score. So that's going to take some time, but let's write that down. So to map the number of points based on the round together. So I'm going to take a bit of time to calculate all of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and come back once I have a working map. Okay, so I'm just in the process of writing out all these different scores that you could have. And I realized another thing we could do is just write down what each of the things means in the comments, just so we actually have an easier time like mapping these. Okay, so I've just put in the comments what each thing means, and now I'm gonna go ahead and translate that into the dictionary. All right, so we are back. I've calculated all the moves, and this I think is right. We'll find out. I might need to tweak something, but I think my math is mostly right. So we've got this map, and we want to go through each line of the rounds, I guess, and figure out how many points we got. So let's have like a total score here so that we can keep track of it. For round in input. So let's figure out your move, or sorry, let's figure out the opponent's move. So opponent move equals round at 0. So it's going to be the first character, and then your move, since we know it'll always look the same, we can just say that it'll be at the 3rd character. So what we want is the total score plus equals. So we want it to be in the opponent's move, your move, like by key. So opponent's move, your move, that'll give your score. So we're going to do moves at your opponent move, and then add your move. And then all we need to do is return total score. So let's put this as the sample and see how it runs. 15. That was right? Yeah, cool. Let's put this as input. All right, we have a gold star. We did it. Step 1 is over. So let's do step 2. Okay, so again, I'm gonna take a second to read it and then we will come back. Okay, so that kind elf ends up coming back and telling us that we were wrong, and what the symbols actually mean are what we are supposed to be doing in terms of winning, losing, or drawing. So X means we want to lose, Y means we want to draw, and Z means we want to win. So based on that, we have to figure out what score we will get, because we will know what to play. So for example, if our opponent picks rock in the first round, we know that we need to draw, so we will also choose rock. And how many points will that give us? So that'll give us 1 plus 3, because 1 for picking rock, 3 for the draw, and that'll give us 4. So what we can do here is repurpose this, because we know what each rock, paper, or scissors, what each of them, how many points they're worth, and we know if we need to win, draw, or lose, what we need to play against what our opponent plays. So it's just about repurposing this dictionary. Right, so if we know if we need to play X, we need to lose, and what that means is that we need to play scissors. So we would know how much scissors plus a lose is, so it would be 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and repurpose this again because math, and we will come back and take a look. All right, so we are back. I also rewrote these comments, so now it's just A, B, C are just the letters that our opponents could play. And then X, Y, Z is lose, draw, or win. We saw that the opponent would play rock. We need to lose this, so we know that we need to play scissors, which is worth 3 points. And I went ahead and did this for all of our different rounds and outcomes that we could have. But other than that, I believe the code should just be the same. Except maybe we could just rename this as outcome, just because we know based on our opponent's move what the outcome should be and what the score is for that. So let's check that against the sample. So I believe the sample gave us 12, so let's do that. Yep, 12. Okay, perfect. So now let's run that against the input. Okay, 10,835. All right, we did it. We completed day 2 of Advent of Code. So thank you again for joining me. I will be back with day 3 very soon. And thank you all for following along. See you soon, friends.